Recently, we have seen an increase in volcanic activity around the world. A volcano near the Philippine capital, Manila, has spewed ash up to 9 miles, 15 kilometers, into the sky. This prompting the evacuation of thousands of people, the cancellation of flights, and warnings of a possible explosive eruption and volcanic tsunami. Taal volcano is one of the country's most active. It sits in the middle of a lake about 45 miles south of Manila. As tremors shook the area, volcanic lightning flickered in a column of steam and ash, making for a spectacular display of nature's raw power. The Philippine Institute of Volcanology and Seismology, Phivolcs, raised its alert level to 4 out of 5, meaning hazardous explosive eruption is possible within hours to days. The Taal volcano is part of the notorious chain of volcanoes which are known as the Ring of Fire. The Ring of Fire, also known as the Rim of Fire or the Circum-Pacific Belt, is a major area in the basin of the Pacific Ocean where many earthquakes and volcanic eruptions occur. Also, this area has seen a lot of UFO activity, and it would seem that UFOs do take a particular interest in these natural events. Why could this be? What could they be looking for or monitoring? Let's take a look. Welcome to IF, videos on history, mystery and the strange. Hit that subscribe button and ring the bell so you never miss a video again. Volcanoes are a true force of nature that have long been the focus of mankind. They feature heavily in many ancient religions and have been said to be the home to gods. They are also hotspots of UFO activity. So, what is the relationship and links between UFOs and volcanoes? There have been many reports of activity documented over the years. Let's take a look at a couple of these and see if we can uncover some answers. Let's begin with a report from 10 years ago that tells of how many objects were spotted flying over the Icelandic volcano. This is going to be hard. Eyjafjallajökull. Nailed it. What makes this story a little more bizarre is that the volcano was active at the time. So did these objects arrive at the volcano, or maybe even come from the volcano itself? These mysterious UFPs were reported to have formed themselves into a V-shaped formation. Looking at video pictures, I think we can exclude birds or another flying animal as a cause of what was seen. The movements seem to indicate intelligent, controlled flight, and the formation was created to serve some unknown purpose. This sighting also shares many of its characteristics with objects seen over both volcanoes and earthquakes in other parts of the world, heading from Europe to Asia, and a sighting near Sakurajima Volcano, Japan. The volcano is monitored by a camera system that captured some amazing images. The 4-camera system shows a number of glowing orbs which are flying in and around the volcano. The footage shows that these anomalous flyers not only looked as if they were monitoring the activity, they also looked to be interfering with it. You can head over to the Sakurajima Volcano Live website library by following the link in the description box. As a bit of a tip, use your browser's in-page translation from Japanese to English, jumping across to another continent and yet more UFO volcano interactions, this time in the Americas, Mexico to be exact. Let's look at Mexico's colossal volcano, Popocatépetl. The weekend of July 1st, 2017, there were 3 massive explosions which rocked southern Mexico, sending a column of ash nearly 7 kilometers into the sky. This event coming after a huge 8.1 quake. The combination of disasters leaving 217 dead and almost obliterating the Mexican capital of Mexico City. Among the chaos, an object that could not be explained was captured on film. The biggest news publications in Mexico, the Milenio and Extra Mex, showed images of an unknown luminous object over the erupting volcano. The amazing images, captured by a reporter who was working on a story about the active volcano. His picture shows a glowing orb that is clearly definable thanks to the dark black smoke rising from the volcanic crater. The reporter, A1 Alfonso Reyes, snapped this picture using a 24mm angular lens with an exposure time of 20 seconds. At the time of the photo's taking, he did not see anything strange in the sky. It was only when developing the snap that the mysterious object became visible, this being a common trait with UFOs. This making many consider the idea that these craft may have some kind of cloaking technology. The camera captured the UFO descending trajectory and a quick turn into the crater's direction. The flight characteristics of the object meant that it was possible to exclude things like meteors, airplanes, or helicopters as an explanation. This strange occurrence is something that is often observed, and in June of 1999, the surveillance camera of the CNPRED, this camera being part of a system used to watch the activity of the Mount Popo volcano. This camera unexpectedly captured something that could not be easily explained away. In the smoke rising from the crater, just like in the story previously, there was an object this time. It was clearly identifiable as a flying disc. There has been no explanation to what this craft was or could have been. Moving on to the Calbuco volcano, which lay dormant for over 4 decades before its eruption on April 22nd and 23rd. The initial eruption sent dust shooting into the air, and it was enough to ground flights and cause the evacuation of the nearby town of Ensenada. This was then followed by another large eruption which happened to coincide with the storm. The resulting light show of lightning bolts illuminating the ash made for amazing footage which was shown by many media outlets. The thing is, it may not have only been humans that were watching. UFO reports quickly began to come in. 5 UFOs in a line formation, 4 in close formation, and 1 trailing flew directly into the ash clouds at a low altitude above the volcano and then disappeared. The images captured over those couple of days were uploaded, and this is when the UFOs were spotted. At the time, these craft were invisible to the naked eye. Ana Luisa Cid posted a video showing the objects hovering as if they were observing the volcano before suddenly disappearing. So why are UFOs constantly spotted in the run-up to earthquakes and during volcanic eruptions? There has been an increase in these sightings, and this would make perfect sense as we are witnessing an increase in tectonic and volcanic activity globally. Many theories have been proposed as to why there are unidentified objects seen flying over these violent outbursts of nature. 2 men who have worked toward an answer are Michael Persinger and Ghislaine Laferré. They made a statistical study of the correlation between UFO sightings and seismic related locations. The findings of this survey were published in their book Space, Time, Transients and Unusual Events. In this book they put forward evidence suggesting that tectonic strains in the Earth's crust produce enough energy to produce columns of electrical energy and glowing balls of light in the atmosphere. Tectonic strain theory, TST, would also provide an explanation for why UFOs appear at a window area or certain hotspots like volcanoes and earthquakes. One of the book's authors, Michael Persinger, went on to consider an experiment with the possibility that the EM fields of this type of UFO can trigger hallucinations or trance-like states in people who get too near to them. This, he then goes on to link with the numerous stories of alien abduction and tales of strange encounters with extraterrestrial entities by those that have witnessed an unexplained light in the sky. There have also been more outlandish claims made. These include the idea that aliens are building bases inside volcanoes. They harvest the vast amounts of energy produced, and they are seen as eruptions take place because at those times it is unsafe for them to remain in their hidden crater bases. Others say that the answer is far simpler. Like us, they are monitoring the activity and the events for research purposes. The end goal of this supposed research is only to be guessed at. Maybe they want to prevent further disasters, or maybe, equally as possible, start them. Had you heard about UFO activity around volcanoes and earthquakes? Have you spotted an unidentified object above a natural disaster? Or could this be some kind of natural phenomena? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. As always, if you like what I do here on the channel, hit that red button, like and share. You can catch the latest by searching We Are If. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you next time.